We have in POF studio the senatorial candidate of the SDP and former Commissioner for Information, Ekiti State, Sir Kayode Otitoju. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Sir Kayode Otitoju will be responding to matters arising over the June 18 governorship election in Ekiti State. Sir, what is your overall assessment of the election of June 18, 2022 in Ekiti State?
It was manipulated by style, in the sense that the voting was predetermined, and predetermined by the cost of purchasing votes. So very likely that the pictures or the figures must have been extrapolated before the election itself. I'm sure when parties start collating their Form PC8 and some other forms that shows what the party agents signed as the real figures, you will see the variance. There will be variance because it's like there was a sort of constant which was already put there. You know, when you are plotting simple graph, you have the 0 point, then you have the y and x-axis, okay? So for someone who wants to get a certain margin above the runner-up or the second position, instead of starting from 0 on the y-axis, it can be starting from point, x, and that could be reflected in the result. Like, for instance, our net, based on how close the figures of SDP to that of APC, how can you now get a margin of over 100,000 votes between SDP and APC? It's not possible. I'm sure many things will be revealed by the time we finish the collation and the calculation of the marks of the votes based on the performances of various political parties, as reflected in the form, in the INEC form.
But you had your representatives at the various polling units, and we understand that these agents signed these results.
You will see the signed one will reflect the actual voting. Are you with me? There is a sort of marks which was already reserved before you now get the performances of all the parties. The performances of parties like SDP, APC, PDP still reflect what was there, but there is a margin that was already added, and that margin, by the time they finish, can be less than 80,000 marks. Can be less, if not up to 100,000 marks. Because at the end of the day, if there should be margin at all between SDP and APC, will have been just around maybe 3,000. We are going to court. That's basic, because we won't take impudence from beggars. By the time they collate and confront INEC with their own form, and they see the total on their own form, vis-a-vis what was, announced, then they will know that actually we are saying the truth.
But if the people indeed believe in the SDP, why would they take money from any party?
You make me laugh. Let me tell you, my own family, like my senior sister, who I'm next to, lives in Udwayedu, was 10. And when I came 3 days to the election, I first went to greet her because she lives there, and she's not that literate. She didn't go beyond the primary 5, not even primary 6. I went to her, and after greeting her, I asked, which party are you going to vote for? He said, you want to vote for money SDP. Oh, that I'm the one going for Senate. He said, whatever we say is what we will do. Meanwhile, there is her last daughter, about 41 years of age, was with her. I asked, Fumilayo, who are you going to vote for? I said, it's SDP. So I now make sure sister vote for SDP. So, day before yesterday, I now asked Fumilayo, how did it go in Ward 10? Because I'm in Ward 6, so that's what he said, Mommy didn't vote for SDP. I said, it's not possible. He said, it's true. I said, okay, that means you must have gotten money now. Another 10,000 in addition to the money I gave her, which should be double, which you give me. He said, no, they didn't give her the money. I said, okay. I now phoned my sister. I said, sister, Fumilayo told me that you didn't vote for SDP. Only Ben. Only why? Money is really because of money. Only one phone. Money. Why? Didn't you collect the money before you voted? Only one phone money. They ought to have given you before. He said, Chinao said, oh, they will still give me. I said, no. What is the reason? He said, one of their leaders said that they saw her 2 weeks ago in SDP meeting at Odoayedum. And based on that, they didn't believe that she voted for APC. So there will be some cases like that. Then in Odooro, where I voted, I had to intervene.
Your own polling unit?
My own polling unit. After I voted, and around 2:15, the APC and PDP ran out of money. Because I don't know, people say it's 8,000 or it's 10,000, but what I confirmed that APC gave in Odooro was 7,000. Okay, and the money sent to them was 12 million. Okay, they sent 10 million to Oye and 12 million to Ikoli because Ikoli has more voter registration.
How did you get all this information?
I'm not a CID, but I'm giving you the. So I now said that how come in my own polling booth, how come you didn't get more than 95? It said even that 95, some of the people who voted for APC were members of SDP. But that of PDP, in fact, more people voted for APC than they voted for PDP among the members of PDP. So I now say why? I said because money. I said okay. How come there are people? Because there is a cluster of about 15 people very close to my vehicle. My vehicle was parked maybe about 50 meters, 50 or 100 meters away from the polling area, and so I was looking at what was happening. So they came very close to the Odooro Central Mosque, and they were arguing. That was after the voting, around 2:15, and they wanted to tear one guy up into pieces. So I now asked my driver to take this phone and take the picture of what is happening. Mistakenly, apart from taking the picture, he pressed video. But the video is an amateur video, but I was able to capture. And what was the,
Conversation.
the conversation? They said the APC, towards the end, those 15 or 20 of them, they were given 3,000, and that they will give them balance of 5,000 when they finish, that they have already sent for more money. And now this thing is over, and the guy want to go. That's why they grabbed that one, or something like that. So but what was funny a bit was there were 3 ladies, and they approached me that now there is no way they can return to Ado because there is no money. I said, are you not members of this community? They said, yeah, they are members of this community, but they came all the way from Ado so that they could vote. That they came a night before because they are indigents. So, and that now the money promised them, it's only 3,000 they got. It remains 5,000. And that 3,000, so anyway, and by the time they said, okay, and I said, okay, is this how you will do during my own election in February next year? They said, no, that my election in this community will be as it is to Shegun in Ifaki. In Ifaki, there was no political party. It was Shegun. You see the voting in Ifaki Ward 1 and Ward 2. Nothing less than 221 votes per unit. Nothing. Everybody, it's our own son. And that is it. And it happened to me in 2003 when I contested other SCP. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah. I scored 85% in Udoro Ward 6. Despite the fact that it was an enclave of AD. Because that's where Baba Falodun is, Baba Isebere, and big people in AD. So there is always this son of the soil type of thing. So the lady mentioned that now gave me the correct idea that she must have been from Tabatan.
So who promised her the money? Which party?
I said APC. No, they were causing them that the people who pocketed the money, who collected the money from APC, who will have represented APC at the World Sale, but didn't give them the correct money. That one, so it was. You just, when you see this type of thing, you just wonder whether the literates and the illiterates, whether there is difference. Because if we are boasting of a PhD holder as the governor and the head of the APC, leader of APC in Ekiti, and this type of criminal, things, happen, both by, then you wonder, what's the difference between Adelakun of Ibadan or the Adelabu of Ibadan and our government.
The counter-accusation is that the SDP also got involved in vote buying, but perhaps not at the same scale as the APC.
I don't want to believe, because before you can buy votes, you must have money. Well, I'm a stakeholder, major stakeholder in everything. And if there is any amount I give for maintenance of secretariat and what, that can even buy up to 5 votes from what I had these people were spending. So, and people like me who could get to the secretariat and say, the PRO, from time to time we go to the press and all sorts of things, use this as logistics and whatever. We are not men. So where will the money come from? Initially, people were banking on, okay, if Tinubu doesn't get the APC ticket, he will fall back and come to our party, more so that majority of our, no, many of our members are swagger, and if there is anybody to be credited with the success of Tinubu in this dispensation, is Dayode. Because when people never suspected, when people didn't even know Tinubu would take this thing serious, it was Dayode that was traversing the whole length and breadth of, not Southwest, Nigeria. You know, are you with me?
Yeah.
So, based on that, and since he has his followers with us, though he remain in APC, since he had his followers with us, and we thought that if they don't give Tinubu the ticket, that Tinubu will support us and probably get us money to do some things like being the polling agents and also some. There are some statutory payments that you must make, whether you like it or not. And, so I don't know where the money will come from, and I don't know how such money will be disbursed, and I don't know. Because as a senatorial, foremost aspirant, then most of the things that were going on, were with my involvement.
Would you hold the vote buying accusation as the only factor for the loss of SDP in that election?
It's a significant factor in the sense that the vote buying was like you first popularized the populace by not paying their salary. The people retired, you didn't pay their gratuity. Then farmers find it difficult to go to farm because they were afraid of being killed by herdsmen, which the government didn't really took serious as Fayose took it. So you just see that everybody, anything you throw at them, any bait you throw, will be embraced. And that was what happened. They first killed the people by rendering them poor. And they now threw out about, I learned what went to that election from APC was in the region of 5 billion.
What about the factor of the young age of the SDP, or the fact that the candidate just went to that party not too long?
Yes, it's in fact, that's why I think the hero of this election is Infiormation. Because if you can move in to a party less than 3 months ago, and though he has been governor before, but how many people, in fact, before you finish as governor, they will have, eroded, your fame will have eroded. So talking less of someone who was governor between 2007 and 2010. So the mere fact that he came in and within 3 months was able to garner this type of vote without giving cover to electorate shows that actually he's a superman, and it shows that people like us still coming behind must learn from integrity and forthrightness that Infiormation is doing. Because no money will have gotten the type of support. Everywhere you go, it's Segun Oni. Even the toddlers, when they are singing, it's Segun Oni's song. So what I'm saying is, it's good that we could see that in the pre-election stage, that this man was the man of the people, was the person they were clamoring for, and that what now happened on the election date was, was an abnormality, and which was caused by see and buy or vote buying, which transcend. I said they gave money to entice even our own members, because I was discussing with my Ward 6 coordinator that what happened, with the exception of my own polling booth where I got 65, no other polling booth except one again that got 50. I now said that, brother, some of our members took money from APC and voted.
So you mean SDP lost even in your unit?
In my unit, I told you PDP, APC scored 95. I score, my party scored 65, and that's the highest in any unit in Ward 6.
And APC won the unit?
Yeah, by 30 votes.
Your party is challenging the result of the June 18 governorship election.
Obviously.
How much proof can you provide?
If we go to court, just know that the case is decided because they will have known the outcome before we go to court.
We've been speaking with Sir Kayode Otitoju, former Commissioner for Information, Ekiti State, and presently the candidate of the SDP in Ekiti State for the Ekiti North Senatorial District. We'll come again another time with others who will talk about matters arising in connection with the June 18 governorship election in Ekiti State. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
People of the Fountain.